Hey everyone, and welcome. You know how when you're learning a new language, you sometimes run into two little words that just seem to get in each other's way? Well, today, we're going to crack the code on one of the most common puzzles for anyone learning Portuguese, the real difference between que and como. So take a look at this sentence. This is the kind of thing that can really make you pause. The most interesting job that I had was as a teacher. You see that? We've got a que and a como sitting almost right next to each other. It definitely looks a little confusing at first, right? So what in the world are these two words actually doing in the same sentence? Well, that is exactly what we're going to figure out. Let's pull this sentence apart, piece by piece, and see what's really going on. Okay, first up, let's zoom in on our first word, gay. The absolute best way to think about gay in this situation is to see it simply as the connector. So grammatically speaking, que is being a relative pronoun here. But what does that really mean? It means its only job is to link a thing, the noun, to an action that's related to it. It works almost exactly like that or which in English. Think of it as the sentence's superglue. And here is the perfect way to picture it. Think of que as a little bridge, see? On one side of the river, you've got o emprego, which is the job. And on the other side, you have tive, I had. Que is that sturdy little bridge that connects them. Without it, those two ideas are just left stranded. And you can see how simple and powerful it is here. O emprego que tive, the job that I had. Or o livro que li, the book that I read. In both of these, que is just doing its one very important job. It's connecting. Simple as that. All right, that's que sorted. So let's move on to our second word and see how it fits in. Now we're talking about como, and I like to call this one the role player. You see, como is playing a totally different game. In a sentence like this, it just means as. Its entire purpose is to spell out a role, a function, or the specific capacity someone is working in. It's all about defining the position. So, if que is our bridge, then a fantastic way to think about como is like a role hat, or maybe a name tag. It's announcing the specific job title. When we see foi como profesor, it's like the sentence is literally putting on its professor hat. It's defining the specific role that was being filled. And using it follows a really simple three-step pattern. First, you start with the action, like trabalhei, I worked. Then you drop in como to mean as. And finally, you just name the role, como empregado de mesa, as a waiter. See that? Action, as, role. That's the formula. And you can see that exact pattern right here. Fui como professor. It was as a teacher. Trabalhei como empregado de mesa. I worked as a waiter. Or how about ele serviu como soldado? He served as a soldier. In every single one of these, como is there for one reason and one reason only, to state the role. Okay, so we've met the connector, and we've met the role player. Now it's time for that big aha moment. Let's put them side by side and see how this all clicks together. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? Over on the left, you've got que, our connector, meaning that or which. And on the right, you've got como, the role player, meaning as. O livro que li, the book that I read. Versus trabalho como médico, I work as a doctor. Two completely different, very specific jobs. Okay, so this brings up a really fantastic question. If the answer to the question uses como to define the role, why doesn't the original question, qual foi o emprego mais interessante que tivistes, use como at all? Well, let's break that question down right now. It starts with qual foi o emprego mais interessante, which is asking which was the most interesting job. And then the second part, que tiveste, means that you had. Do you see it? Que is absolutely essential there. It has to be there to connect the job to you. The question needs the connector. So here's the bottom line. The crucial point is this. The question is asking what the job was. It wants you to identify the job itself. It's not asking as what you worked. You only need como, the role player, when you give the answer and define the specific role you had in that job. All right, you've seen the breakdown, you understand the logic. Now it is time to actually put this into practice. It's your turn. So now that you know the crystal clear difference between the connector and the role player, how would you answer this question yourself? Qual foi o emprego mais interessante que tiveste? Go on, take a second. Think about a job you've had.
You can build your perfect, grammatically correct answer starting right here. O emprego mais interessante que tive foi como, and then all you have to do is fill in the blank with your role. Was it as a barista, as a developer, as a tour guide? See? You now have the code to answer it perfectly. So, what was it?